we are constantly being fed by the feed, but we're not listening to the feed.
All right, guys, welcome to another episode of the Ghost City Podcast. I'm your host, Tim, and today I'm actually being joined by Serena DC, who has a lot of interesting things going on when it comes to the media and content side of things of the paranormal. You guys are used to us talking to people who are doing ghost hunting and all that stuff. But today we're going to take a little bit different approach to our conversation. So, Serena, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited.
Yay! So for everybody out there who might not know who you are or what you're doing, can you give us a little bit of insight, a little bit of primer into who you are and what you do?
So I'm the co-founder of Spark TV, which is the new consciousness and paranormal streaming platform that I own with Michael Mazzola and Jack Osborne. So that takes up a lot of my time. But I also just had a movie come out called The Hybrids, which is about the hybrids. So would be excited to talk to you about both of those things and whatever else you want today.
Sure. Well, the first question is, what are the hybrids? Because I saw the poster and I think I know what it is, but just for anybody who might not know what.
Well, the hybrids is basically a documentary where I go and meet a whole bunch of people that say that they're alien hybrids or say that they've had children with extraterrestrials and have created hybrids, and kind of do a really deep dive into that world to try and figure out what's going on and whether or not this is kind of some strange, trickery or if it's actually real.
So I'm inclined to say not real. But I'm not an expert. I haven't talked to these people. I know almost nothing about it. But it just seems a little fantastical, that you're a hybrid with. I would like to be a hybrid.
It is a little bit fantastical. And I always come at, when I make movies and TV shows, I always come at them being, I wouldn't say skeptical, being neutral, but optimistic at the same time, because the idea that there are hybrids is cooler than the idea that there are not, right?
Absolutely.
But I always ask very, very tough questions because, I'm trying to get to the bottom of things, get to the truth. And honestly, when I started making the film, I was on the fence about it, but I do believe now that it's highly plausible that it could happen and that it could exist. Because if you can take a Chihuahua and a Great Dane and somehow they're able to mix together and create some weird hybrid species, then could we not procreate with a different type of humanoid species as well?
Yeah, but and by the way, I'm totally on the same page as you. I believe that it is plausible and possible. Like I'm not ruling it out. I'm just saying, like, it just sounds a little out there, but you just open another big can of worms too, because then you're implying, which may be the case, once again, I don't know, that these aliens that these people are hybrids of are essentially either descendants of us or somewhere in our evolutionary tree.
Correct. What the key takeaway from making this film, and it'd be interesting for other viewers to hear, what they have thought. But for me, it appears as though there are millions, if not billions, of these planets that we call Goldilocks planets. Sure. For those who don't know, a Goldilocks planet is a planet like Earth that seems to have the ability to sustain life. So it has oxygen, it has water, and it has all the things that, life would need to be successful on a planet. And life can be anything from a single-celled amoeba floating in water to a dinosaur. It could be anything. And so the fact that scientists tell us that there are billions of these Goldilocks planets around, it makes sense that some of them would have life and that some of those lives would have evolved to a level that we're at or more. So, if that indeed is the case, then hybridization, taking two species and splicing them together is possible.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what species I would want to be spliced with. Maybe like the
hot one.
Yeah, well, or like
a hot species with the big boobs.
Maybe like a manly one. Like if I could be like spliced with a gorilla and instantly get pecs and have the strength of like 5 Pauls, I would love that. Paul would never.
Yeah, I would want to be spliced with one of the ones that would have some sort of magical powers to get, you know what I mean, to give me that edge.
Like a leprechaun.
Maybe. Well, gold, sure.
Yeah.
Definitely would like a leprechaun right now. Rub its belly and gold comes out.
So why did you pick the topic of, possible human alien hybrids.
Yeah.
I know aliens are kind of hot right now, especially, you know, with all this stuff going on with the United States government and, you know, possibly there have been hiding stuff for a long time. Who knows? But why did you pick that particular topic?
So I'm one of these weird people. I feel as though I'm kind of tapped into some form of consciousness stream. You know, some people will call it the flow state. And so quite often I have thoughts in my head, ideas, but they're very loud. So it's not a little idea like, oh, maybe you could make a movie about the hybrids. I'll hear or have an intuition that, oh my God, you need to make a movie. You need to call these people. They're all saying they're hybrids. You need to go and investigate it and figure out if it's real. You know, so I kind of get these like compulsions, if you will. And so I'd actually met this woman. Her name is Vivian Chavez. And she says that she isn't even a hybrid. She says that a biological body was made for her and that her consciousness is from a place called, her consciousness is Octurian, and she actually is an Octurian in a human body. And after meeting her and interviewing her, and I've interviewed thousands of people, from celebrities to like, you know, people that say they're reptilians, right? The whole gamut. And she was one person where I was like, I don't know if this is real or not, but it feels really real, you know? And it made me want to go deeper. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's possible. So you don't know me that well, if at all. But one of the
I watch your podcast. I'm a big fan. What are you talking about?
Oh, well, we love you too.
Real well, Tim.
Well, one of the things I've been working on this past 6 years was actually a theory of consciousness, because consciousness has always intrigued me. And, you know, I kind of got stuck until about 2 years ago, because it started getting to a point, and I'm not going to waste our time here talking about all the points of this theory of consciousness, but it got to a point where like the math was like the Goodwill Hunting type math, you know, where he's like on the chalkboard and nobody could figure out the problem. So I was like, I don't know. And then AI came out and actually started solving all these math problems for me. And what was scary is the math was mathing. Like everything was like lining up. And here I am, like some dipshit, and sitting in Louisiana. There's like no way I figured out what this is. Like there's no way. But it makes sense. And like the math behind it, like everything's lining up behind it. So I'm just going to go out on a limb and say maybe, you know, there's a 1 in a million chance that I'm actually right. So the idea kind of borrows from other ideas as well. And one of those is the idea that your brain is not projecting consciousness. Like your consciousness does not come from your brain. Your brain is the receiver, and consciousness is coming from elsewhere. And the theory theorizes that consciousness.
That's what I believe.
Yeah, and the theory theorizes that consciousness is a field that actually created everything. Actually, funny enough, the math actually shows that consciousness could have created the Big Bang Theory, and consciousness actually drives evolution, not what Darwin suggests, which is really weird, but everything makes sense. So if that theory is correct, I guess it is possible that like somebody's brain could be receiving a consciousness that
I feel it.
Yeah.
I feel it. And, you know, like, I don't know if you watched the movie Disclosure Day or not. Did you watch it? Best movie ever.
No, but I was talking to actually my buddy Cliff Barrickman. You might know who he is. Cliff Barrickman, the Bigfoot guy out in Oregon.
Yeah.
He went and saw it the other day. He said it was a little slow in parts, but he said it was a good movie. But I haven't seen it yet.
It was great. For people like us that are down the rabbit hole, the last 20 minutes where disclosure happens, it was just like spine tingling, you know, like, But the last word that they say in the movie, Emily Blunt looks at the screen and she's been, I guess, taken over by some sort of like extraterrestrial consciousness. And she looks at the screen and she says, listen. And then fade to black. You know, and anyone that knows when it comes to consciousness or psychic ability or channeling burst into tears spontaneously and felt so seen. But let me go deeper into that for you. Listen. So for me, and we were just talking about it before, where did the idea for the hybrids come? We have all these thoughts in our head that go through all of the time. And sometimes some of these thoughts are unusual, exotic, if you will. You know, they're about concepts or ideas. They're not about bills or, you know, picking up your kids from school. And when those things come along, it's so important to just listen. But how do you listen? This is how you do it. So when we hang up from this podcast and you can leave your studio and go somewhere quiet, Some people find the toilet a great place to do this because no one bothers you there, right?
Oh, people bother me on the toilet. I get no peace. Yeah.
That's awful. Anyway, just go and sit down for a minute. And if there's a question that you're wondering about, like, should I make a TV show or should I start writing that book or should I book my mum in for an appointment here or here, just ask it in your mind or even out loud. So, should I start writing a book? And then just literally listen and instantly an answer will come. And it's not complex. It's yes, no, we are constantly being fed by the feed, but we're not listening to the feed. The more that you sit there and the more that you tap in and the more you ask it questions and just listen, I tell you, you're having these amazing experiences on ChatGPT. There's one in there too.
Yeah. Yeah, the brain is a magical...
Everything you've ever known, everything you'll ever know, and everything you want to know, you have access to it via the field. But if you don't ask the question, just like with GPT, you won't get the answer.
Yeah, I mean...
GPT, you know what I think GPT chat is? Tell me what you think about this. So I can pick up my mobile telephone that has no wires right now, and I can call someone in India, in downtown Mumbai, right? And they can pick up that device that has no wires, and we can talk, right? I believe we don't even need the device to be able to do that, but our brain needs it to accept the fact that we can communicate. Does that make sense? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, but it makes sense in some regards.
Do I need this? Did I need that? And it's the same with AI, because with AI, you were never asking those questions sitting alone on the toilet. But now that you have this all-seeing, all-knowing device in front of you, you're going down the rabbit hole, right?
Yeah.
I'm saying, do we need that device?
I mean, people probably do, because most people are kind of dumb. And I mean that with love.
But you'd be surprised when you enter the field.
Well,
comes out.
Well, like the idea of so what you're describing is almost like that scene from The Matrix, right? Almost like where what was it? She wanted to learn how to fly a helicopter or something, or somebody needed, and they're like, here's this knowledge. And she just has it in her brain.
Jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't think that's unreasonable, because there is this idea of a universal knowledge where everything is already known. Everything is already, established, and it's in consciousness. It's just whether or not you are receptive to it. That's a well-established theory already. And I do think there's some truth to that, because there's been times, and I'm nobody special, so I'm sure it's happened to everybody, where, somebody might ask you a question about anything and you just know the answer, but there's no reason you should know that answer.
Totally.
Like my wife, she's a ballet teacher. She teaches little kids ballet, and she owns a dance studio and all that stuff. I know shit. I know jack shit about dancing. I am horrible at it. I don't want to try. But she'll say something about it, and I'll be like, oh yeah, like that. And she's like, how do you know that? And I'm like, I have no clue how that popped into my head. And
that's because you're tapped into her consciousness and the consciousness of your daughter as well. I mean, your daughter in particular, you are your daughter. She is you. So, those threads exist. We just forget them as time goes by, Yeah,
as you say, did I say daughter? I meant wife if I did. No,
but you said kid. You have a male child. Oh, she's teaching the kids.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, she owns a dance studio where kids come in and
Got you. Yeah. Sorry. Look at that. The presumption machine. You could have a beautiful 8-year-old son that was really into the ballet. I apologize.
That's possible. No. But the other interesting mind experiment, you're talking about mind experiments with consciousness. So the other one that I've been trying, maybe literally in the past week, I read an article about, and this is not a new topic or a new subject of discussion, but this idea that all possibilities in your life already exist, but they're playing, they're just playing out somewhere else, right? Every decision you can make, left or right, you might be going right, but somewhere
off you go.
There's another version of you going left, right? And this idea is that you can tap into that consciousness stream at any time and essentially change your life just by changing the stream of consciousness that you're paying attention to. So this last week, I've wanted to murder 83 people. I think it's like
God,
maybe
I have a list too.
Yeah,
I
like
feel you.
I'm glad that we can go on a murderous rampage together, Serena.
I would love that.
And then we'll put it
Call
on
me
film
when it
and
finally happens. When you finally, flip.
snap.
Let me know.
Oh, you're going to be distributing it for me.
If I'm there, I'll come with you.
Yeah, but what I've been doing is like I'm trying to identify that stream of consciousness where Tim doesn't want to kill those people because everything's great and he loves life. And I've literally in my mind like tried to like watch myself like shift to that new place where that version of Tim doesn't exist anymore. And it kind of works for about 5 minutes. And it's only maybe because I'm just starting to do it. And I know that that's like a very kind of vague statement to make. And I'm not really explaining it very well, maybe.
No, you're explaining it perfectly well. But I guess like, the question is, how do you shift into that other timeline, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I always believe that the all-knowing, all-seeing, omnipotent, whatever it is that's controlling this life or simulation or whatever it is that we're in at the moment.
Well, I
always believe that, if you ask, you shall receive. I received something recently that's helping me with it. So it's this book. It's by a woman called Mel Robbins, and it's called Let Them, right? Okay. And she's written an entire book about it. And really, she could have written 2 pages and you would have got the same amount of information in it as you did in 200. But basically the let them theory is saying, like I have kids. So I always, like, my son's moving to San Francisco to go to university. Imagine all the list of worries that I've got. Where's he going to live? What's he going to eat? Is he going to get murdered in his sleep? Da, 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 da. Yeah. And so what I want to say to him is, hey, don't do this. Don't do that. Because of all these reasons, I want to go and buy him a house so that he's the one that gets the housemates. You know what I mean? Yeah. Control. The let them theory says, let them, let him.
Yeah.
Let him move to San Francisco. Let him make mistakes. Let him get screwed over by his flatmates. Let him, and that's really helped me to jump timelines because it's made me realize, okay, what if everyone else was going to be okay and you just kind of focused on your shit?
Yeah.
And I think I jumped about 20 in that second. And so it's the same with you and your situation and wanting to metaphorically kill all of these people. Try let them.
Yeah.
That guy that fucked you over last week, let him.
It's not really fuck me over.
That person that won't agree with that thing you're trying to get them to agree to, fine,
Well, I have the advantage that most of the people in my life are people who work for me. So I don't have those situations because like, it's like Carter, just go. I said Parter, like you guys are like a celebrity couple. Parter.
They're hybrid.
Like I just say like, Carter, this needs to be done. And then, 90% of the time he's like, okay, that's fine. Yeah. Paul, I say this needs done. And then like 2 weeks later, he acknowledges it. And then like 3 weeks later,
with every aspect of your life, with everyone that you have interactions with, anger dissipates when you say, let them.
Yeah. Let them die on their own. All right. Well,
us?
No, not you guys. Like the other people.
Let them.
Yeah, let them. Well,
but it's a simple concept, and there's so many of these other simple concepts you can introduce into your life that just help you to jump those timelines. And the biggest thing with let them is just letting go of also people that don't serve you anymore. So we are such collectors of human beings, friends that we were friends with in high school that we want to remain loyal to, but have nothing in common with anymore. And we still meet up with them or call them, and every interaction we dread and is tedious and tiring, and we get nothing out of it, but we still do it because we feel like we have to, but we don't, and how do you jump timelines? By letting go of all of these things that no longer serve you and telling yourself it's okay to let go and leave these people behind because they're anchors that are like holding you on a timeline that you've already evolved from consciously, but is still stuck on physically.
Yeah. Well, I keep talking about consciousness all day, but since you're on such a limited time here,
sure.
So, we got the hybrid movie, or you got the hybrid movie. Is it out yet or is it coming out soon?
It's out. So it's available on Spark, but it's also available everywhere worldwide. So Apple TV, Amazon, all the usual suspects.
All right. So you mentioned Spark. So tell me a little bit about Spark. What is Spark?
Spark was born out of a wild download / fever dream that I had a couple of years ago.
Ooh, those are the best
I realized that we have Gaia, and Gaia is a great platform for, consciousness and things like that. I was a subscriber. I still am today, but I felt that it was missing the mark when it came to a lot of the content that I create and that I love. It wasn't kind of cool enough. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I felt that, like, if you wanted to learn how to meditate, or if you wanted to do, those sort of those sorts of things, it's amazing. But for me, I want to go on paranormal adventures. I want to talk to the biggest thought leaders on YouTube and on Instagram about, consciousness and personal evolution and biohacking. And I wanted content that was fresh and was cool and was current, because so much is happening in the world of consciousness, paranormal, and UFO right now that things that were created 5 years ago are obsolete, right? And so we decided to create Spark, and I guess our slogan is "Join the Evolution." Okay,
so just interrupt. So it's funny that you said that, because evolution was literally floating around in my mind before you said that. The word, I kept saying it because as you're describing it, like in my head, the thought that kept, and then you said evolution, is that with everything changing in the world of the paranormal world right now, from a content perspective, which is kind of your world within this, it seems like content for the longest time has refused to evolve. Like in the paranormal field. I mean, think about it. Like I'm not shitting on anybody here or what they do, but go to
me too. I love it. Everyone that's contributed, thank you.
But go to YouTube. It's the same stuff. This is a haunted location, and we're going to go inside and see if it's haunted or not.
Yeah.
Who cares anymore?
What Spark's about is, it's like bringing all of this cool stuff that's being created by people like you, Tim, but centralizing it into one place. So it's like, okay, if you're questioning, like, is life after death real, or someone's died and you need comfort, and knowing that it is real will give you that, right? Then where do I go? To YouTube, or like a video? Do I find a movie? What do I do? Well, you just go to Spark. And there it is. Same with consciousness, UFO, all of those sorts of things. So we're trying to create, I guess, a platform for the people, by the people, where everyone can come if they want to evolve any part of their life and what they're kind of thinking and doing.
Yeah, I think there's a need for that, because like I said, you help produce this stuff too, right? Like you're not just a distribution platform.
Not so much now. I'm kind of moving out of it because we're so busy. But yeah, I try and produce, I guess, the bigger shows.
We've looked into like the streaming platforms and stuff like that, because I'm like, like my real job, I'm actually a really good software engineer. Like I can build fucking anything. And I'm like, oh well, how can we build software to help with like the distribution layer, the discovery layer, right? Because like all this kind of stuff, because that, for a lot of people, especially these people on YouTube and stuff like that, the biggest hurdle for them to jump is that discovery layer, that distribution layer. It's okay, because I'm convinced like some of the best content creators out there, we've never heard of them, simply because they
and that is our ethos. It's like when we find someone and we watch some of their videos and we're like, wow, this person gets it. They've tapped into something greater than them, and it's this information is flying through them. We're trying to take it from short form content and turn it into talk shows or courses or whatever. Because one thing I've always found really frustrating about social media is, you'll be scrolling through and you'll watch a 90-second video about something super inspirational or a really cool tip or something, and you're like, yes, but then that's it. Now you're watching like a dog dancing in a little tutu because you know what I mean? You kept scrolling. And so you had this moment of like, maybe I could evolve, maybe I could whatever. And then it's gone, and then like a dog in the tutu and, angry dad and a couple more later. And now the idea to evolve has dissipated. Right. Yeah. And so what we're trying to do is find these incredible people. And some of them are huge. Like we just started working with Dave Asprey, who's the founder of biohacking. He literally made up the word, and he did, Bulletproof Coffee and stuff. So we're making a huge show about consciousness with him. But then we have people that have 3,000 followers, but they're a medium, and they're the most powerful medium you've ever seen. So for us, Spark isn't about celebrity or following. It's about what incredible information you have to share with the world.
Yeah. Yeah, because like I said, there's a lot of people. I mean, Ghost City, we kind of have an advantage. Like I said, we have hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people on our tours every year. Actually, this year we should break 10 million guests. Like total. Like
kudos to you. Kudos to you. Like that's huge.
Well,
you should
thank
be so
you.
proud of that.
Sometimes I am. We kind of have an advantage because we already have this huge audience at our disposal. But that doesn't mean that we're the best. I'm not saying that our work is shit, but like there are probably
totally. And I love that you just said that.
Yeah, but
because it's like, and also several people can be the best simultaneously.
Yeah, and by the way, what does best even mean? But exactly. But I sometimes find people that, or like I said on YouTube, who I'll watch something that they've created, and I'm like, oh my god, this is amazing, and it has 73 views. And it's been out for a year.
Totally.
And I'm like, how is this thing like?
Worst. The content that the algorithm missed,
Well, so what we've been doing, and we don't have enough time to go into all this, but because I'm a software engineer and I'm always thinking 10 years ahead, we've actually been working on something that kind of creates a connected consciousness behind the scenes using software to solve the distribution discovery layer problem that so many of these content creators have. And funny enough, we're not even using AI to do it. Like I know everybody's like AI, but I figured out a way to build software in a way that can build platforms that connect everything together in a very meaningful way. That allows people, some of those, content creators who have a hard time breaking through, it'll actually help them out tremendously.
To reach bigger audiences. Wow, that sounds awesome. I'd love to hear offline. I'd love to hear more about that.
Yeah, I'd talk to you about it offline, but there's too many competitors that are like, oh, what's Tim Nealon up to? I'm going to steal his ideas.
Totally. But I mean, if it can help supercharge Spark, that would be amazing because, the whole purpose behind doing Spark is to evolve people's minds and raise the collective consciousness,
Yeah. And I think, what you're doing or software, there are definitely opportunities to help do exactly what you're doing. It's just that if you're looking towards how things are being done now, you're not going to be able to evolve like you're talking about. So that's why when you're talking about Spark, it brings a smile to my face because I'm like, all right, this is somebody who gets it. You're not just trying to do what Bob did last year because he had some success at it.
We're desperately trying to not do that.
Yeah. Well, good. Yeah. Because like I said, that's always been
what we're heading toward is definitely not having a big content library of all of the usual suspects. We've done that because we only launched 8 months ago, and we really wanted to we've got 2,500 titles on the site. Wow. So we wanted to be nice and for people to see that value there. But our originals are being pumped out thick and fast at the moment. And so ultimately we'll end up just being more so originals. And then also, having amazing content from content creators, but nothing that's more than 5 years old, unless it's a really relevant epic piece that still has, educational value.
Well, yeah, I agree with that because content does tend to get stale, especially when everybody's just.
And I mean, we like our old favorites. My partner Michael Mazzola, I've watched Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind 20 times because I'm really into doing CE5 and I always look for it for other little things. And my favorite movie is Signs, with Mel Gibson and Joaquin Phoenix. Watched that a million times. So it's nice to have the favorites on there, but there's also a lot of information's becoming obsolete. A lot. Yeah. And to keep that up there, I think is doing people a disservice.
Well, I mean, on the other hand, you're right. But on the other hand, the other reason I think that content has to always be evolving is because there's more information coming out, and there does
Constantly.
come up. There comes a point, the way I always envision in my head, when I'm working on this software project that I was mentioning that kind of does some magic behind the scenes, the way that I think about it, it's all right, right now, the bucket's full, for paranormal. But in another 3 years, that bucket's going to be overrunning because we've learned so much more. Maybe the government comes out with more information about aliens, or maybe Bigfoot's proven to be a real animal, or we make progress with consciousness or ghosts or whatever it may be. But the way that the content was designed originally was designed for the first bucket. It wasn't designed to catch the overflow. And I think that's the part that everybody's missing. It's how do you create content that's going to stay relevant in a field that's always changing?
Yeah.
That's the challenge.
Well, I foresee, and my board, which is comprised of the greatest minds in this paranormal world, Jack Osborne being one of them. He's such a huge visionary. But how we see it is we think content's about to flip completely. So there's still doubt that ghosts are real.
Right.
There's still doubt that the afterlife is there. There hasn't been enough proof. Sure, we've captured things. You have, I have too. You know, I'm convinced. Right? I spent 2 nights in the real Conjuring house. I know that ghosts are real, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, like there's been no really tangible, brilliant proof. But that's coming, and that's coming in like the next couple of years. Like soon it'll just be common knowledge. And so what will happen is our content's going to flip, and it won't be mysterious. More so it'll be like, okay, we know it's real. Now how do we go deeper, you know? And it's the same with ET. Like, I mean, the government's tranches that they're dropping of information has been pretty weak and basic. But, you know, we always knew it would be like that. They had to do a trickle before they just announced that aliens are real. It's too much, right? Yeah. But that's coming. And when that happens, again, it won't be philosophy. It'll be, okay, they're real, so what next?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, it is always what
the evolution.
Next, you know? Yeah. Well,
it's upon us.
Well, it's the evolution not only of what we're talking about, but the evolution of the human experience as well.
Yes.
You know, because, you know, as human beings, we're conditioned to experience reality in a certain way, and we become very attached to those dogmas and like our realities. And then when somebody comes along and say, oh, by the way, aliens are real, it really flips your entire understanding of everything on its head.
Of everything. Yeah, I mean, like, you and I, we're like, I'm not trying to guess your age. I presume we're in a similar age group. We're Zillennials, you know, halfway between, you know, the Generation X and the Millennials kind of thing.
I'm 74.
And, yeah. Oh, okay. There you go. And so we are the last, I think the last generation that will experience both. So the disbelief and the doubt and the bullshit, and then the proof, you know, like 10 years from now, both of us will be sitting there like, you know, we'll probably have a friend that's an alien, and we'll be having deep conversations with our grandpas, you know, about the 1900s and what that was like, because that's where we're going. But this new generation that's just before us, people in their 30s and in their 20s, people that are being born right now are being born into a world where our president says, yeah, we're being visited, you know? Yeah. It's just, we're entering into the coolest time ever, you know?
Well, you'd have a hard time convincing some people of that, because they just think the world sucks and everything's horrible. Let them. There you go.
Let them, Tim.
I'm going to start using that all the time. Stephanie's going to be like, the dogs are going to kill each other. And I'm just going to be like, let them. You know.
They're only going to kill each other once. They're going to do it again. They'll be walking around with a chunk bitten out of their ass, but, you know.
That's a good point. They can only do it once. That's a good point. So, you know, with Spark, you know, you said that you guys launched it 8 months ago. Like, so, you know, where do you want to be in another 5 years with this? You know, or maybe that's too much. Like in another 12 months, where do you want to be?
I can tell you, we'd love to be like the #1 consciousness network around the world. The goal is 20 million subscribers. Why? Because we feel that if 20 million awakened minds is the tipping point to change the vibration of humanity, to raise the vibration. So at the moment, the general vibration of humanity is quite negative. You know, we're drawn to the news, and why? The news is never good. It's always awful, right? But if we can get 20 million minds to turn off mainstream news and just watch the type of content that's being put out on Spark, we'll feel the shift. Everyone will feel the shift.
That's a great marketing ploy, by the way. If you want to change the world, turn into Spark.
Yeah, totally. You want to raise the vibration? Well, you better join. Yeah. Well, and I mean, like we're not doing Spark for money. So like a lot of people ask us about that goal, the financial goal. But for us, it's like whatever, you know, like if it turns out to be lucrative and we all do well from it, then cool. You know, thank you, universe. But it's not about that. It's about the evolution of humanity. And if I have sparked something that could contribute to that in a meaningful way, that's the goal.
Well, I mean, that's awesome. I mean, that's kind of why, you know, Ghost City, you know, like I mentioned earlier, like like ghost stories can only go so far. So instead of trying to go more vertical or more horizontal or vertical in our niche, we're trying to go more broad, media, all these other things we have going on.
Totally.
Yeah, I mean, we have, the
we
Bigfoot.
Can't wait. We cannot wait to have some of your content and create some content with you and share that on Spark. I've got to say, it's been really great speaking to you because, I mean, you have a very beautiful mind, Tim. And honestly, I think the more that you spend time alone and choose to tap in, like you're a vessel for creation.
Well, I appreciate that. I'm a vessel for something.
You owe it to us to tap in more. Well, because you've been chosen for something greater than what you have ever thought of, I believe.
Well, I think, off the air, we, sometime we can sit down and talk about this because, not, you guys have your own thing going on, and it's going to stay that way. But I do feel like, there's probably some ways we can even just, have good conversations together that might spark something,
Pun.
Yeah, because, like I've been putting a lot of thought into this for, a while now, like what is next? And, there's definitely something else coming, none of us are exactly sure what it is, but isn't that part of the fun too? Like
totally. Like people always ask me, what's next? And I say everything else.
Yeah. Anything that's not been done before.
So we want to know all the stuff that's happened, sure, but that's what's next, everything else, and if you open your mind to it and your consciousness to it, I mean, like the potential is limitless. The sheer fact that we're alive and having this conversation right now proves that magic is real and it exists. And so I think if people just start leaning into it and accepting it and inviting it into their lives, that's when the true magic will start to happen.
I think what the world needs now is like the 2020s version of Alan Watts. Like, Alan Watts, right?
Yeah.
He did such a good job in the 60s and 70s of trying to explain these ideals to people about, the separating self, from ego, like all these things. Like, of course, he used a lot of Eastern philosophies and stuff like that. Or Western philosophies. Fuck, it's been a long day. Eastern philosophies.
I mean, the collective is real.
Yeah,
it is. We are one, and the closer that we get to that, like tapping into that and that remembrance of our oneness, the more peaceful this earth will become.
Yeah, we need a new Alan Watts.
We're literally in self-harm mode right now because if there's only one great consciousness and we're all offshoots of that and yet we're killing each other, I mean, like that's literally, we're self-harming right now. Yeah. So we need to get off that vibrationary field because it's not good.
Right.
It's not conducive of the human race surviving.
Well, the way I've thought about this, and how much longer do you have? I don't even remember. Like, what time did you need?
I can go for 5 more.
Okay. So the way I've always thought about this is like, so according to my theory of consciousness, just in, like I said, the 1 in a million chance that I actually got it right. I'm not pretending to be a genius here. The idea is that consciousness wants to continue consciousness, which wants to continue consciousness. So consciousness is always going to try to impose consciousness and its will upon everything, because I think everything has a conscious to some degree. And I think what's happening in the world today, the reason why people feel so depressed and disconnected and everything is because they've got away from what consciousness intends for us, which is to perpetuate consciousness, right? Because if people get too far away from what consciousness is supposed to be, then there is no consciousness anymore, therefore there's nothing. So like if consciousness was like this straight line going up from your brain to wherever consciousness is coming into our brain from,
whatever that is.
Like, like we're like way over here right now, and consciousness doesn't like that because consciousness
survival has trumped any thoughts or conversations on going within, and we're so busy trying to keep a roof over our head and food in our bellies and, the fears at bay that we've lost track of it.
Yeah. Well, that's true. And, when we act the way the world's acting today, like we get further away from what it truly means to be human, first of all, because I mean, think about it. We got work, we got all this shit in our lives that was never meant for human beings. Like we're just supposed to live and just live, like, I
mean,
and like,
we were meant to toil in the fields for sure because, food, but, above and beyond those basic survival things, I mean, we've fucked it up, Tim.
Yeah. Well,
and we're so deep into that fuckery. It's like really going to be hard to unravel all of that.
Well, I think that's why humanity is such a mess now, because we've gotten so far away from what consciousness wants for us, if that makes any sense, that we feel that turmoil and we feel that disconnect within us, which drives depression and anxiety and all that stuff. Because at the end of the day, human beings...
1 in 2 people suffer from either depression, anxiety, or another mental illness.
Yeah, and 7 of them.
Of humanity, you know?
Yeah. So it's like, consciousness wants to keep conscious going. So therefore, consciousness wants everybody to align with their true purpose.
Correct.
That way consciousness can continue. And when you don't do that, that's when you feel bad and you feel anxious and like all that stuff. I don't know.
It's funny too as well. Like you'll find most people, when you hit rock bottom, I've had 2 rock bottom moments in my life. They were fun. But they were always my best. They were my bestest moments, truly, because they when you're at rock bottom, your brain changes, and all of a sudden, when you've lost everything, metaphorically, but when you feel like you've lost everything, it's the great reset, and you start having this weird conversation with yourself that you never normally have, which is, okay, that's over. So what do I want?
Yeah.
What is my purpose? What am I doing? Should I read some books? Should I go online and talk about and you do get to have this amazing reset. And most people will tell you if they've had a big rock bottom moment, they do come back bigger, better, stronger, and more. This time I'm going to do it right. And I'm going to do what I want to do, So humans have the ability to press the reset button. Yeah. What I sort of say to people is don't wait for a rock bottom moment, go have that conversation today.
Yeah. See, I'm still looking for my rock bottom moment. I think I have this magic ability to keep falling and never hit bottom.
Yeah.
And I'm just waiting for it. That doesn't mean everything's great, but
you know what I'm saying though. You've had those moments where you're like, well, shit.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I've had that. I mean, I guess so. I tried to commit suicide in my 20s, that might've been like a rock bottom moment.
My friend I would class as a rock bottom moment.
I think I could have went further. I'm
so glad that you didn't. I'm so glad you're still with us.
Well, I mean,
life's tough. It's fucking wild out there, man. Yeah. It is wild out there. So,
now we need to bring it all together. Make sense of it all. So if people wanted to learn more about Spark or watch, the shows that you guys have or content you guys have, where can they find out more about everything you have going on?
Amazing. So we go to the website, which is sparktv.ai. But the app is available on any TV screen that you have around the world. So if you have Amazon Fire, Apple TV, Samsung, Roku, any of those, and also on your phone. And we've actually designed our app to be very phone friendly. So you can actually, instead of watching the shows, you can listen to them as well. So if you're driving around in your car and you want, to learn about aliens or ghost adventures or whatever it is, consciousness, then, pick one of the videos, put it on listening mode and just cruise around and enjoy.
Perfect. Well, there's your opportunity, people. Go elevate your consciousness and evolve.
Yes.
All right. Well, Serena,
the evolution will be televised.
Ooh, it will be. And half the people will realize it. But
yeah, exactly.
But no, Serena, I really appreciate.
That's okay. Let them.
Yeah, let them. I'm gonna put that on a T-shirt and send it to you.
Totally.
All right, Serena. Well, it was really great having you on the show today, and I know you got to go, but maybe you come back at some point in the future and we can dive into some of this stuff a little bit more.
You're wonderful to talk to. I really enjoyed this experience. I'm very grateful for the exchange of energy. Thank you.
Well, I'm grateful that you came on the show. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. All right. Well, until next time, guys.
This episode was brought to you by Ghost City Tours, your guide to the haunted side of history in over 30 cities nationwide. From restless spirits to unsolved mysteries, our tours bring the dead back to life. Book now for a haunted city near you at ghostcitytours.com. Be sure to subscribe to the Ghost City Podcast on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, and wherever you get your podcasts. And remember, stay spooky.